A question that's sort of coming around me is, what is a home? What makes somewhere a home? Right? Because there's a house and there's a home. There's a place you live and a place that's vacant. There's a difference between these two things. Because there's a house that's brand new. It just got built. No one lives there. It's a house. We don't call it home. Home is a special word used for a place that we belong to. Like it doesn't belong to us. A house belongs to us, but we belong to a home. And that's because we've put so much of ourselves into this house to make it a home. Because if I want to define what makes something home, I have to look at what a home is. It's a place where people live and they store their stuff and do all manner of things. Great. So people live there, they do things, and they have their things in it. Is any of those three things not part of what makes it a home? Like, it's things. If I was to take my personal belongings, all these little dumb trinkety things that I've gathered over the years that maybe I don't care about too much anymore, and I was to get rid of them, and I lived in this empty house, this box of blank walls, floors, and ceilings, would that still be home? Would that feel like home intrinsically? No, it wouldn't. I think the answer is no. I imagine that situation, I imagine myself in that situation, and the answer is no. I wouldn't feel connected to the place I am in. Something about it is missing. A part of myself is missing. A part of what makes me belong to a home isn't there. So something about the stuff in a house is important. But if I think of a house that's filled with stuff right now, I think of the place I currently live. It's got all of its things still in it, but all of a sudden, nobody lives there. There is no people. Would you call that a home too? Maybe, maybe not. It feels strangely closer to a home than a place with no objects and people in it. It feels, in a weird way, the house that's completely empty but has some people in it feels less like those people belong there than a house filled with people's stuff, but with no people. It feels like there is a connection between the home and its stuff, because that directly ties the people to the home as some sort of link between people, stuff, and home. If then the people bringing their stuff, their objects, their important things to them into a house creates that house into a home, well, is the house just a storage locker that we sleep in? No. A home is where we do more things than that in. A home is a protected space where we do some very intrinsic things that we don't do anywhere else. We shower here, we clean ourselves here, we sleep here. We spend important time with family here, family and friends. There's an intrinsic way of keeping this space to a certain set of people that get to live here and bring themselves out in the presence of others. So it has to be in that way, all three of those things. Those three things are what make a house into a home. And by that definition, a home is a house that has had the human spirit placed into it by many manner of things, by many manner of activities, by many manner of intrinsic things done with others, and by manner of act of living there. I think that's where it does lie, is that the act of living in a home, the act of being human and living a very human existence within these walls is what makes it a home. A home is a place where we are allowed to live as people. A home is where the soul gets to rest. Home is where the soul gets to be everything that it is. Home is where a person gets to be nothing more than they are. The space inside a home is a mirror of the people who live inside of it, who truly do live inside of it. Because they're sleeping in some place and there's living inside it. And those are two different things. People who live there spend time that's meant to be spent there. It's not a stop in for the night and then leave kind of place, like a gas station. It's something more. It's something more, and it's intrinsic to the way we as people live and the way we as people see and experience life. And that very interestingly makes a home different for everybody, because my home will look a lot different from somebody else's, especially if I have all my crazy ideas that get to go into it. One of those ideas, like filling it with things that I've made, filling it with items of quality and craftsmanship, items that escape the wastefulness of the current day and age. And I could spend plenty of time going, oh wow, we waste a lot of stuff. That's not a helpful video. You already know that. It doesn't need to be said. It doesn't even need to be ranted about, much less given a whole essay about. We waste things. I don't like wasting things. It doesn't feel good to waste things, but it does feel good to create something that I know will in no way go to waste because of the efforts put into making it and bringing it into existence. Right now, I'm working on making a walnut comb to comb my hair. Except it probably won't do very well because my hair's so long. So I'll probably need to make myself a brush at some point, but having trouble sourcing the fibers. That's been difficult. But for now, I'm working on making a comb because that's the other thing in this realm I can make with the tools available to me. And by doing so, I really appreciate how much work goes into it, because I just spent damn near 45 minutes cutting space for every single tooth of the comb. It's taken so long and so much effort. The effort alone makes me appreciate it more. It makes me appreciate it more because I made it. It makes me appreciate it more because I know it will last because I'm making it to last. It makes me happy to know that if it lasts even longer than me, then it'll benefit somebody else after me. And that's really cool. Taking away generations of waste, but it's not really about that. It's not some big, like I care about the environment or anything. I care about the environment, but I also know I'm only 1 out of 8 billion people. So my lack of waste won't make any difference. It's just how it is. And that's all right. But all I can really do is use all those other reasons to keep going. I think about the things that I have the capability of doing and creating in my life. I think very often to myself about what's important. And I constantly reevaluate and reflect and ask myself again and again, what is truly most important right now? What is most important in the far future? What is important for myself in a year from now? I have to think, what is most important? What matters most? And I've come to the conclusion that a lot of what I've been told is important isn't. And that there are things that have to do with our relationships with other people and the children we bring into the world and the way we treat our community and create families and friends and these found families filled with friends and family. The joy and strength from that is unmatched from any other answer anybody could ever give me. I know it from firsthand experience already in my life. So whenever anybody tells me that something else is important by notion of excitement over it, I'm not convinced. I don't find myself convinced. I find myself convinced by things I know to be true in my heart, much more than anything else that anybody would like to convince me of. One of those things that I've decided is important is to make something, to be capable of, I don't want to say be self-sufficient, because that's a big ask. That's hard. That's damn near impossible to do that. So it's not that, but at the very least, it's being capable. Like being capable. Like not having done it all, but being able to do it all if necessary. Like anything that comes near your way, like not doing you can do anything, not everything, right? So it's not do everything, but be capable of doing anything. It's give yourself the tools and the strength, the grit, and the work ethic to understand everything in life can be worked for to some degree or another, regardless of the hand you're dealt in life. I look at myself and I look at what I'm capable of, and I reevaluate constantly what I need to do to be the person that's capable of going through life and bringing everybody up with me. A rising tide raises all ships, yes, but what if I could raise the tide? Who says I can't? And in what way can I? Is it possible? I think it is. And that's something I'm willing to live my life by, because I see the people around me and I see them as other ships that I don't need to escape or beat in any sort of game of life, but I need to bring with me and to share any amount of success, like love and just wonderful experience of life with them. So in that way, one of the most important things is leading. I've come to the conclusion that leading is one of the most important things. And I've never saw myself as any sort of leader. So it's something I have to grow into. And I have to do it by being the person who's brave enough to trailblaze and do something that seems wacky and out of the box and maybe even dumb at this time. Like making a wooden comb. Guys, I'm spending my time making a wooden comb. Well, I'm doing this to further my career. It's like, well, I made a comb. Maybe this comb means something someday. And it might not. But the thing after the comb might mean something. And I may never get to that thing after the comb if I never made the comb. It's all a wonderful series of adventures and experiments and guesses about how I can do something better, how I can grow, how I can be more than what I am now. Not for the reason of being some sort of great person, but being the person that people look to as a spotlight. And that's a responsibility. And I do have to understand that in my life, that that's something I will have to be responsible for if I ever do become somebody who does these things. Life's pretty cool in that way, and I'm excited to keep living it because of that.